Terima kasih. Terima kasih kepada Terima kasih kepada Abang Mak Sabu kita. Sebab tu tadi saya cakap kita baru warm up. Sebab mana nak dengar rice cooker kan. Abang Mak saja boleh sebut rice cooker. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, selain daripada tetamu-tetamu yang hadir pada malam ini, majlis makan malam kita juga dipancarkan secara Facebook Live di page Rafizi Ramli. As we speak, there are 4,000 live views. So I need your help. For those of you who have smartphone, if you have like page YB Rafizi, please share the page, please share the video so that we can send the message not just in this hall but throughout the country. So kalau ada smartphone boleh buat keluar, tolong share. As of now kita ada 4,000 views. We hope at least to reach 10,000 view malam ini untuk sebarkan maklumat ini kepada semua tetamu-tetamu. Baik, 10.45, we have prepared a final video before we proceed with the final agenda. Our next video is called Battle for Putrajaya. Please enjoy.
Candidates and the next 30 candidates who come forward and show to Malaysians they had not taken or abused their public position for themselves. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, with the spirit battle for Putrajaya, saya ingin menjemput penceramah terakhir kita pada malam ini yang saya anggap a truly wakil rakyat. Seorang YB bukan yang berhormat tetapi yang berjuang, yang berkhidmat, yang berkorban. Daripada kiri hingga ke kanan, tepukan gemuruh untuk YB Rafizi Ramli.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam. Tacha Wang Sang Hao. Wanakam. Very good evening. Saudara Effendi, Saudara Midi, Tuan Haji Mat Sabu, Saudari Izzah, sahabat-sahabat, all friends. This is going to be the last fundraising dinner that I have to organize. So don't worry, we won't be asking money from you anymore after this. When we set out about 2 years ago, I worked out a budget and I calculated we needed 9 million ringgit for the period of 18 months in order to win this general election. Because we needed to win all the 40 plus marginal seats. I went to see some friends. They said 9 million is too cheap. You know, I'm no spend 2-3 million per constituency. You guys must be joking, so I'll help you with the money straight away. The money never came. And along the way, even before getting the money, I've asked some of my former interns, some young Malaysians from the top universities in the world, who actually believe we can do something to change this country. They quit their job and joined Invoke. By the time I realized that we won't be getting any money, I had about 20 on my payroll. So I had to advance my money. And then by the November of 2016, I had to go to the public, and that was our first fundraising dinner, which was a sold out. Between then and now, 18 months later, the Malaysian public has given about 8 million ringgit to Invoke. And that's why we lasted this long. We survived, as Wong Chen said, we survived the anxiety of trying to pay my 100 plus staff every month. And I can tell my staff, who's all over the place tonight, you have your payday about 2 weeks from now. And the best thing is, 2 weeks after, on 9th of May, you can tell all your friends that your 2 years of national service has come to fruition, because we would have kicked Najib out of Putrajaya by then. So I want to start. It's not going to be too long, because we have to start by about 11. I have to leave for Perak. I have about 8 ceramah tomorrow in Perak with this voice. I want to start by thank you very much, every single Malaysian, those who are in this hall, and especially those who are outside, who give 10 ringgit, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 100,000, 50,000. I am very proud being a Malaysian because all of you. Because you show, you prove to the world that we can actually change. You prove to the world that Malaysians can collectively come together, whether they have 10 ringgit or 20 ringgit. And I still have 2 Malaysians, one by the name of Safia and one by the name of Othman, who give 5 ringgit a week for the last 1 year. Every week I see this one man, Othman, 5 ringgit, and Safia, 5 ringgit. Whoever you are, wherever you are, thank you to people like this. Thank you, all of you. We have indeed proven a point. Malaysians can come together collectively to tell the elites of our society, to tell the cronies, to tell the vested interests that Malaysians want politicians who fight for the public and who will go to the public to get fundraising, who will not depend on cronies and special vested interests, whom once these politicians go to Putrajaya, then they will serve the interest of the public and not the interest of the cronies. Thank you very much again. But since this is the last one, so there will be one last appeal, of course. We have a general election in about 3 weeks now. Every single of your ringgit will actually help to print posters, to print campaign materials, to pay for pacha, to pay for phone bills. So we have our Invoke volunteers and Invoke staff going all over from the right to the left. Please give as generously as possible. I know you don't have 2.6 billion to give, but you may have 260 ringgit. So please give, and let's make it the best investments that you have ever made for this country when we kick Najib and Rosmah on 9th of May. I'm oddly dressed today because I usually wear jeans and I wear t-shirts because we are in the business of selling t-shirts. For the last 1 year, we sold about 1 million ringgit worth of t-shirts. The last 1 month has been the worst period of campaigning. 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, more often than not at least 6 ceramah. During the weekend, 10 to 11 ceramah. So I put on so much weight. And I don't think I will sell more tickets if I put on my jeans. So I learned from Wong Chen, to hide your stomach, you put on the jacket on. Anywhere I go, as Dato' Yop mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of sympathy. I mean, and I thank the public for the sympathy. People usually express sympathy because, you know, I may be going to jail. Some friends from UMNO and PAS often ridicule me for where I am today. Because they say, after all you've been in your life, for all your career, for all your educational background, look at you today. This is what you will become. You've lost your job. You don't have a job. You are a former MP who cannot contest for about 9 years. And then you are unemployed now. And in all probability, all these people kept telling me, in all probability, I will go to jail on 1st of June. Because 1st of June is my final appeal. And that's for the OSA case. If I lose that appeal, that's 1.5 years prison. So some friends in UMNO and PAS often express so-called dishonest sympathy to me, that this is what have become of you after all the promise of life that you had. Well, I'm perturbed. I'm not disturbed at all, because the way I see it, I'm not that much different from Najib. Najib may not realize it, but I do. I am unemployed, a former MP. Najib is unemployed as well. Parliament has been dissolved. He doesn't have a job now. He goes around claiming to be a prime minister, dishing out money, but in reality, he is unemployed just like me. He is trying to find a new job as well. And this is the part which I think Najib forgets. If I have all the risk to go to prison, if I may become a prisoner after this, Najib doesn't realize if he loses, he is also a prisoner after this. He will take over my cell, I think. So Najib and me we are not different. Both of us do not have a job now. Both of us are unemployed. Both of us may be a future prisoner after this. But looking at the support from left to right, from Johor to Perlis, I was in Terengganu and Kuantan last night. Looking at the support from the ground, I think the odds is against him. I think he will be the one who go to prison, not me. I don't want to go into too much details about the long 18 months of preparing for this big 9th of May. All of you who are here have followed what Invoke tried to do for the last 18 months. We've managed to get 73 politicians and candidates to declare their assets. And I think even just now, Abang Mat Sabu came to me and said, is there going to be the next round of asset declaration? If there is one thing of my proudest moments with Invoke, is making sure that after this, our MPs will have no choice but to publicly declare their assets year after year after year. It has become a culture. I can tell you, as of tonight, Invoke has 31,000 volunteers all over the country. At the rate things are going, by the time we go to the ballot box on 9th of May, I am sure we will exceed the 40,000 volunteers that we set out to recruit when we started Invoke 18 months ago. We will have 40,000 volunteers to help Pakatan Harapan in this election. I've made appeal after appeal that we need as many pacha as possible. I can inform you tonight that as of tonight, we have allocated more than 12,000 pachas to all the marginal seats around the country. We are only short 8,000 more. If Najib thinks that he can win this election through cheating, he will have to contend and face the army of pacha volunteers whom we have trained for the last 18 months. And I can tell Najib, it is not as easy as he thinks. And most importantly is this. I can also update everyone that we have carried out surveys after surveys, data analytics after data analytics. We have informed you every month, things are looking much, much better today than when we started out about a year ago. At the rate things are going, I have every confidence we will win Putrajaya. We have approached this election as if we are running a professional project. We have audited every single process. We have identified every risk at every step of the process. We have mitigated the risk for every process. And that's why I've run election for PKR and for Pakatan for the last 9 to 10 years. I think whatever happens on 9th of May, I can gladly say that this is the best preparation that opposition has had in all the years so far. So I would like to remind Najib, we plan, God also plans, and God's plan is always better. So he can plan whatever. He can cheat, he can try to give bribery, he can tabur the dark. But do you notice one thing? Every time he tries to do that, there will be a big hoo-ha and a backfire. Yesterday he was trying to give petrol card to cabbies. Instead of getting the thanks, he got cursed by the cabbies. In fact, some cabbies had to go to hospital because there was a stampede. Everything that he wanted to do, it backfired. Even when he announced the Ends Manifesto, he couldn't get his lieutenants at the back to smile. And of all the photos that the world had to capture, it is the photo of Zahid, Hishamuddin, and Ku Adnan looking very gloomy, knowing that this is their last term in office. So no matter what they do, it just doesn't work. The latest number is very encouraging. Nothing more encouraging than Kelantan and Terengganu. And I haven't even told this to Mak Sabu. I've always maintained to Pakatan in Kelantan and Terengganu, there is a lost cause. Forget it. Three-corner fights in Kelantan and Terengganu, where BN and PAS had traditionally been the strongest party, and Pakatan had always been a third party, a three-corner fight when Pakatan is a third party in Kelantan and Terengganu is a hopeless fight. Husam was not too happy with me. A lot of people in Kelantan not too happy. I've predicted before, based on the numbers, that BN will sweep clean all the parliamentary seats in Kelantan and Terengganu. That's 15 in Kelantan and 8 in Terengganu, 23 in the back. I've said that. The reason being is, as of 6 months ago, BN support was about 45% in Terengganu and Kelantan among the Malays. PAS support was about 28 to 30% in Kelantan and Terengganu among the Malays. And Pakatan was at the third place, low 20s, 22, 23. We've completed the survey for Kelantan and Terengganu this week, and the number was a pleasant surprise. I come from Terengganu. I've always given up. You know, I think Terengganu will take so long before the wind of change from the West Coast comes to Terengganu. But I was very surprised because the level of support for UMNO among the Malays in Terengganu actually puts Terengganu in the same bag with Johor and Perak and Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. In Johor, when we ask people, if there is an election tomorrow, which party are you going to vote? Consistently, for the last few months, only 35% of Malays say they will vote for Pakatan. In Negeri Sembilan, in Melaka, and in Perak, only 39% say they will vote for Pakatan. For UMNO. In Terengganu, the number for UMNO is even lower than in Perak and in Negeri Sembilan and in Melaka. Only 37.5% of Malays in Terengganu say that they will vote for BN. The rest are split between Pakatan and PAS, which means that the winds of change, the realignment of Malay votes are taking place, and not just in the West Coast, is already also happening in Terengganu, and worse for PAS and UMNO are in Kelantan. In Kelantan, the support for UMNO is the lowest in the whole Semenanjung. I thought the support was lowest in Selangor. It is actually the lowest in Kelantan, only at about 25.8%. In Kelantan as well, and for those in Kelantan watching, in Kelantan as well, UMNO and PAS are neck and neck at between 25-ish. That means that there's about 50% of votes are up for grab for Pakatan. Even if we cannot win the whole seats in Kelantan and Terengganu, we will begin to pick up a few seats in Kelantan and Terengganu, which traditionally have been a stronghold for UMNO and PAS. Which means what? Malays know what's happening. I know a lot of people from the right of the hall to the left of the hall always ask me, everything is in futility, they say. Because we've seen this before. Every general election, we will see a huge turnout at opposition rallies. We see hundreds of people at opposition fundraising. But when it comes to voting, Malays will continue to give the vote to UMNO. That's what they say. And people always tell me, YB, I think you're just doing, wasting your time, going on your truck, masuk kampung, talking to these people, because they will not vote for us because they fear the AP. There's one cardinal rule of being a government, even if you are corrupt. And I'm telling this also not just to Najib, I'm also telling this to Pakatan leadership, so that when you become government, you remember this one cardinal rule. Even if you corrupt, you can mess up so many things. You can cause so many troubles. You can have your fights at the top, but never, never, ever destroy the rice bowls of the common people. Don't make it difficult for them. Don't make it hard for them. Life is already hard as it is, even without Najib and Usman. For those people who believe that Malays will never change, remember this. Fence-sitters, common people, whether they are Malays, Chinese or Indian, they just want to live their life on their own because they are small people. Big issues of corruption, governance, how this country is being run, is beyond them, because their preoccupation is how to pay the next bill. Is how to get food on the table. Their preoccupation is to pay minyak kereta, toll, and so on and so forth. So you can't blame them. That's why in the previous elections, the financial mismanagement under Barisan Nasional had not hit the rice bowls of the common public, the full-blown, the way that Najib had done. In 2013's general election, although one MDB has started, the Felda financial irregularities were happening behind our back. But there was no GST yet. Najib did not have to cut allocations to schools, to hospitals, to universities. GST was not there. Therefore, the common public actually think whatever Pakatan Rakyat and Barisan Nasional were arguing about, those are among the politicians and the elites. They've got no stake in it. And you can't blame them. But things are different now. If you notice, for 6 or 7 years, Najib had denied that cost of living is an issue. Najib refused to accept that prices have gone up so much higher than 3 or 4 years ago. Every time we talk about prices, Najib will quote the baseline inflation, the CPI announced by Bank Negara. Well, the reality is different. You and I know prices have gone up so much. Even the middle class in Kuala Lumpur could feel it. Let alone the 90% of the workforce who don't pay tax because their salary is too low. Of course they feel the pinch. You know, when we ask ministers, what are you going to do about prices? They give the dumbest answers. And I like to quote one about the price for the fish. I don't know whether you've heard this before. It's special to me because the remarks were made by an MP from my kampung, the Minister for Agriculture and Agro-Industry, Shah. Prices for fish have been going up like hell. In some areas in this country, only the rich can actually have fish on their table. So people have been asking, what are we going to do to bring down the prices for fish? Because common sense is quite straightforward. If we lack the supply for the fishers, then we must see how to get more large trawlers, deep sea fishermen out to the sea. Now, but this is what the minister said. Lo and behold, about 2 months ago, he made a big announcement in a big function in Kemaman, my hometown. And he said, don't worry people, when the East Coast Railway link is completed, the fish prices will go down. I'm not as smart as Ahmad Maslan, so I took some time to understand how. And he explained further. He said, a lot of the fish supplies actually come on board from the fish jetty in Tok Bali. He said, when we have this 55 billion East Coast Railway link, then the logistic network to deliver this fish to all over the country will be so good that the transportation cost will go down, and that's how we will lower our fish price. And I felt like yelling and said, you know, if you had told us that you're going to borrow 55 billion from the Chinese for the fish, I'll be very pissed off. I mean, I thought all along that the railway link was meant for the poor East Coast people. It was not even for us, it was for the fishers, according to Najib. So you can understand why people are angry. The cabbies are asking, when are you going to remove the lopsided permit system that allows the cab companies to continue to collect rent from them? It's rent seeking. They have to pay to these companies every day. And if they don't pay, that's it. They accumulate debts, and many of them go to Alung. They ask for a very simple thing. What are you going to do to level the playing field between the e-hailing, the Grab car, and the cab? And Najib's answer is, I give you a petrol card. I don't know whether I've not met any cabbies from yesterday's event, but I don't even know whether there's money in that card. For all you know, it's just a card. That's why I told people who are concerned with the amount of data and money that Najib is throwing to the public, because people feel that Malays will be swayed once again. They will take this and they will vote for UMNO again. And I said, don't underestimate the public, because they could tell the difference. Before 2013, Najib didn't just promise. Najib actually gave this money beforehand. When Najib wanted to get Felda votes, Najib listed FGV, and then 6 months before election, Najib actually distributed 15,000 ringgit for each Felda settlers family. That's about 2 billion. He gave money. So when these people get 15,000 ringgit each, 6 months before election, of course they think Rosmah is the prettiest girl in town. You can't blame them. What happened now? Najib is not giving the money now. Najib told the Felda settlers, if you vote for us, and we'll be returned to government, then we'll give you 5,000. Felda settlers are not stupid. They say, give me the money first. I want to see the money first. Likewise, Najib also promised civil servants. Najib said that, vote us and we will increase your pay. Najib said the same thing about BRIM. Vote us and then we will increase BRIM in June and in August. You know what the public is saying? Show me the money first. Because they know the government does not have the money. They know that even if Najib wins, and even if Najib honors the very few promises he made today, that will be at the great financial expense of the public. The poor will have to pay, the rich will have to pay, Malay, Chinese, Indian, every single one will pay. That's why anywhere I go, more and more people come and say, don't worry, they give us money, we'll take money. In fact, I tell them, if they give you money, please ask for a car, ask for something better. Get something a lot better. They know now, because Malaysians are not stupid. And I'm sure this time around, for the first time in our history, we will see Malays, Chinese, Indian, Iban, Kadazan, the urban, the rural, the poor, the young, male, female. It is a battle between every single concerned Malaysians against Najib and Rosmah. It is not about a battle between parties. It is not a battle between the race. It is us versus Najib and Rosmah in this election. Well, it's about 11 o'clock. So let me wrap up. You've heard me in ceramah for almost a year already. I've said all the jokes. I've done all the punchline. I've done everything. Most of you would have heard everything that I wanted to say. In the last 1 year, we've clocked about 1,000 hours of ceramah, because we do track how many ceramah we do. We've covered about 60 marginal constituencies, more than what we set out to do. For every single state, we go and cover at least once a month. And you can tell, you can ask Datuk Yop. Datuk Yop has improved so much on his ceramah. I think a lot of us tak cari makan after this. We are out of business because of him. My biggest fear is this. Now that Malaysians come together and hopefully we will change the government, my biggest fear is that you go back to what you are doing and you give all your trust to politicians blindly against. Never do that. Never do that. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. We have a chance to redraw everything, to redefine everything. We have the chance to re-educate and rebuild everything that we know about this country. We have a chance to tell Malays that you are smart and that you're not stupid, that it only takes courage, risk-taking, values and honesty, and hard working, and any Malays can be as successful as anyone else in this world. Do not believe anything that your politicians tell you that you have to depend on that. We have a chance to tell our Chinese friends that you have built this country as much as anyone else. Without you, we wouldn't be here today. We can tell every Chinese child that this is the only home they have, and they can give everything that they have for this country, so that they know, because they know that they will be treated as fairly, as equally, and will be loved by everyone else because they are Malaysian, not because they are Chinese, Malay or Indian. And we can tell the Indians, we can tell the Indians that because the Indians have been neglected for so long, the schools were neglected. To your normal Indian poor family, it is not a surprise if they think that it is better to drop out at Standard 6 or Form 1 and go and work out there, because there's not much prospect staying in school. We need to tell the Indian families, no more. We cannot tolerate young Indian children to drop out at school at Standard 6, at Form 1, Form 2. There needs to be a focus so that as many young Indians finish at least Form 5, as many as possible. That is the best way to tell Indians that you are as much a Malaysian as anyone else. But don't leave this to politicians. Don't leave this to politicians, because they got other interests, they got other issues, they got problems they need to inherit from Najib and Rosmah. If there is one thing that we, especially the young people who have worked for Invoke for the last 18 months, if there is one thing we wanted to prove, is this: you don't have to be a politician to decide where we are going. There are ways where you can make sure that our politicians, our public officials, our civil servants hold the highest level of accountability to the real boss of this country, which is every single one of you. And for that, I hope you will continue to support. I hope you will continue to be vigilant. I hope you will continue to criticize. I hope you will continue to remind politicians that we put them there. It's the public who delivered GE 14 to Pakatan Harapan. It is not the other way around. And it is the volunteers, the common, the regular Malaysians who put 1 hour, 2 hours, who leave their job, who close their shop, and who will campaign for us for the next 1, 2, 3 weeks. It is you, all of you, who will make it happen. When that happens, I hope things will get better. I think Pakatan Harapan has reasonably good policies, reasonably good intentions, a lot better string of leaders compared to Barisan Nasional. I mean, I can't help but comment on this. I can't help but comment on Shahrizad. Because I thought that it would do her a big service to just bow graciously and retire. And I will not make fun of her anymore or of the cows. It's unfair for the cows. I thought after 2 general elections and at her age and after having achieved so much in her life, it is time to allow other people to take our place. But no, she was going around to find a seat. And worst of all the seats, now there's a rumor that she's going to Bandar Tun Razak. And I was laughing my head off because I felt like, well, tell that to the voters in Tun Razak, the kind of choice that UMNO had offered to them. You can choose. You can choose a former minister who puts cows into her condos. There's a lot of flats in Bandar Tun Razak, and you will see a lot of cows going around in Bandar Tun Razak after this. Or, before this, the option, the offer that UMNO has made to people of Bandar Tun Razak was better, a lot better. We had an aspiring candidate who, perhaps after long hours working during the day, went to have a coffee at a karaoke. I mean, surely we deserve better. Surely we deserve better, and that's why you've seen Mat Sabu, well tested, you've seen Izzah. I have no doubt that the kind of leadership that Pakatan offers now is obviously much better. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not standing. I have no interest for public roles after this. After all, I do deserve a break after the long 9 years. I've mentioned continuously to friends that I have no intention to pick up any public role in the government. And I meant it. People who know me understand I meant it, because I function best as an opposition, because you need a big hitter to punch Najib. You don't need me to punch a Pakatan Harapan government. If Pakatan Harapan adheres to its manifesto, delivers its promises, all the institutions will do the job. You don't need whistleblowers. You have good judges, you have good policemen, you have good attorney general who will chase every single politician who steals cows from the public after this. I only ask for one thing. I only say this. The only role I wanted is this. You have to leave Najib and Rosmah to me. That's mine. After all the misery, after all the legal defamation suits, after all talking to a wall in Parliament, I do want to sit down with Najib and Rosmah. So, hypothetically, after the election result is announced, the leadership of Pakatan will continue and form the government and get down to rebuilding this country. I will actually go with my truck, with slight modification. I will go and knock Najib's and Rosmah's doors. Because I think if they have not left the country by then, they should realize they are not very popular. If they go out on their own, someone might knock them. So the best thing is this. I will offer them a ride in the truck because it has my big face. I don't think anyone will throw stones at it. We will make sure that they are well looked after. We will make sure that they have hundreds of bodyguards. We will pay for the rooms, for the beds, for the electricity, for the utilities. We will give them a 70-inch TV in their room. We will send them where they belong, to a room in a cell in Sungai Buloh. It is not being vindictive. I know that people say, why do you have to do that? You are being vindictive. It's not. The amount of damage and misery that Najib and Rosmah had inflicted to this country we will have to carry for generations after this. We inherit hundreds of billions of debts. We lost thousands of acres of plots of good lands. One good generation is a lost generation. It will take one generation for Pakatan Harapan to put everything back on track. In the meantime, the young generation, those in their 20s, those in their late teens, they are a lost generation. They don't have a good education. They don't have a good training. They have to put up with a very difficult life, with a very bad economic situation. It will take us a few years to turn things around. Najib and Rosmah at least owe some accountability to this lost generation. I have no vendetta against anyone. But if we were to make sure that we send a strong message to politicians after this, that you are accountable for your action, we must begin with getting that accountability from Najib and Rosmah first and foremost when we win this election. Of course, I also want to know about the diamonds, the rings, everything. And we need to collect every single cent that has been siphoned out of this country, bring it back to the country, put it back in an education fund. Don't even allow politicians to touch it. Give it back in the form of education to good young Malays, Chinese, Indians, whoever who is smart, whoever who is young, whoever who is poor, and whoever who is hardworking. No matter whether you are Malays, Chinese or Indians, they deserve an assistance from us. And we can do that if we form a big enough fund for all these kids. And that's the best thing to rebuild the country. So thank you very much. I hope to see you again somehow. We will meet in a different capacity. The good news is, this is the last time I'm asking for money from all of you. Thank you very much. I hope to see you on 9th of May. And 9th of May will be the last day that we will pay GST. No more GST. After 9th of May, no more Najib, no more Rosmah. God bless Malaysia. Thank you very much. Say Nandri Vanakkam. Thank you.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, pengumuman terakhir berkenaan kutipan jumlah derma yang diambil dari setiap meja malam ini adalah sebanyak RM168,818. On behalf of Invoke Malaysia, thank you so much for your support, for your assistance, for your kindness in rebuilding our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember this date, 14 April 2018, should we win the election on the May 9, this is the date that you want to be remembered, that we were here tonight in IDCC Shah Alam. Pakatan! 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 Assalamualaikum, selamat malam, good night.
Viva